G'day and welcome to Aussievision. My name's Liv and I'm joined here with the lovely Colleen, and we're here to talk all things Moldova, as it was their national final this morning for us, and we finally have their contestant for 2023. Let's start by talking about the overall show. What did you think of the show this morning?
As for the overall show, I definitely think that the auditions were easier to follow since the stream did keep beginning and ending up until Sunstroke Project performed. But once it did get going, the show was quite good. Like we had time to see the favorites.
Yeah, correct. Like the stream kind of knew when to come back, because like the end of the night was when the sort of the big hitters started to come through and the stream got a little bit better. But otherwise it was kind of in like 2 frames per second, and you were kind of getting like almost a slideshow of what the performances were meant to be like. But as someone who's watched this national final since 2018, I can confirm this is a good quality stream for Moldova. There are some years where the whole thing just completely crashes and you cannot see a single thing at all or hear anything. So as much as we're all sort of being a bit like, it actually honestly wasn't that bad. It could have been a lot worse. I will say 10 songs is always a nice number. I think 10 is a very magic number. That means the show doesn't drag out too much. I think it was about 2.5 hours from start to finish in the end, which wasn't too bad at all. What did you think of some of the entertainment?
I think that the entertainment was excellent. So at the start we got the Tröneletzel a cappella performance, if I remember right. I think it was a cappella. And then we got Zdobsha's Dub to perform, which I love because I love Zdobsha's Dub. And then we had that whole medley that went for like 30 minutes. Also with the two contestants that came over to Moldova to perform. So we had Theodore Andre and Sudden Lights. So I'm very pleased with the interval entertainment.
Yeah, no, I agree. It really, they did it at the right times, just kind of pick the pace up a bit. And the Adahov brothers, that little medley they did was fantastic. That was my favorite part of the whole day. And seeing literally all the contestants holding hands, doing their little dance and kind of going around and around. Everyone was on their feet, all the grannies, Sunstroke Project, the works. It was just amazing, the crowd. Really, really good. I would say the hosting was quite good. I wouldn't say my Romanian's amazing, so I couldn't really put any input on that. But they did do a little nod to the fans in English as well. So it's always nice when a national final acknowledges that there are us crazies that are watching all around the world. Moving on, of course, to the winner, which was Pasha Parfeni with Soarele și Luna. I thought this was absolutely outstanding for me from the audition process. This is the one that caught my eye and the one I just couldn't stop listening to. What did you think of it?
I don't think it was my favorite from the audition process, but I knew it was the one that had the most potential to do well at Eurovision. Just because of the beat drop, it's solid. The stage performance was also the most ready compared to all the others. So yeah, I think it is the best decision.
Yeah, I mean, well, he did win both the jury and the televote, so it's always very good when everyone's in agreement that this is what we want to send to Eurovision. He also got 49.4% of the televote, I think. So that's pretty solid in Moldova. That's some good stuff. I would say watching his winner's performance was a better indication of what he's actually capable of, because I would say the one that he actually did during the competition wasn't his strongest vocals, but the winner's performance felt a lot closer to what he definitely can do. Of course, Pasha is not a new name to Eurovision. He did compete in 2012 with Lauta, coming 11th. So back with a very different song, and I would say an absolute ethnic banger. We've got like a real drought of these types of songs at Eurovision this year, so it's very exciting to see one back.
And 2 songs in Romanian too.
Absolutely. No, it's so good to hear Romanian back at the contest. It's been doing very well for them. So it's, yeah, I mean, definitely had the best staging. It was the most realised, of the contest today. So it wasn't really surprising. And the women in that, I thought it was just captivating. Absolutely loved it.
I know they, like, everything looks so good. And like the flute player as well.
Oh my God, when he came out, I was just like, yes. do it, get it, like go, go, go. Like I'm so excited for this at Eurovision, and I know it's just going to get better and better. Moldova always manages to polish up their national final performance into something really amazing at Eurovision. So I have a lot of faith in this. Let's move down the list to our second place, which was Sunstroke Project with Yummy Mummy. They came second with the televote, but third with the juries. What do you think about that?
As for the result, I'm a little bit surprised because I thought it was going to win, but also thinking to Sunstroke Project's other performances, I feel it was a little bit too similar to their 2017 song to really send to Eurovision, but it is also still a very solid song.
I would say the staging was a bit boring for them, honestly. That they sort of sat for a lot of the performance. That last minute, when it started to pick up a bit and they actually stood up and there was some dancing, I was like, okay, if you did something like that and then added 10% for the whole performance, I would have thought it had a good chance of winning. But once I sort of saw the staging and that they were kind of, it's just not necessarily their best song. I mean, they've been to Eurovision twice as well. It's always hard to go a third time and top yourself twice. So I just don't think this was their year, really.
I think also like the lighting as well wasn't too, because we're in Australia, we're watching it at a horrible hour. The lighting kind of put me off a little bit.
Yeah, there was a few things that sort of put me off about the performance. It definitely wasn't the cohesive package, and you can't kind of look past that. It's kind of dwindling. There's like less and less people in Sunstroke Project every time we see them, and I don't think two works very effectively. I think the trio was probably the easiest to stage and was a more cohesive look on stage. But anyway, moving on to our third place, which was Aliona Moon with Duma. She came second with the juries and fourth with the televote to finish third. I thought this was another really nice entry from her. I thought the staging was quite pretty, the way that she used the LEDs. The vocals sounded really good from what I could tell, but like the stream was a bit hit and miss. So I think I did miss about the first minute. But what did you think of it?
I also missed the first half of the song just because of the stream, but luckily it kicked back in when the song was just like getting into it. And I think, yeah, it was another really good song. Probably not the best song for Eurovision, but I think it was a really good attempt for her, and it was really good that she came third.
Yeah, correct. I'm really glad to see her at the top end of this. I would say Omia had so many more large vocal moments for her to really, really show off. This was a song that was in not a dissimilar patch to her Eurovision entry. So I was kind of hoping for her to maybe show off a bit more with the vocals. It was a little bit more pared back, but overall it was still a very good and competent performance, and quite clearly better than the ones that were sort of towards the bottom of the table, let's put it that way. Moving on to fourth place, going to struggle with the pronunciation on this one. Surele Ozianu with Bare Badeshov Badita, which was the grannies on stage, just to refresh everyone's memory because that pronunciation wouldn't have helped you at all. They came third with the televote, fourth with the juries to finish fourth. What did you think of that one?
I really liked it. I don't think it has as much of a hook as what I'd probably like to have if you're going to have like a folk type of entry. But again, it stands its own ground. It's really good. I know of the Ozianu sisters from their work with Stobsha's Dub, so it's good to like know of them beforehand as well. So I think that like helped me really like it, but I think lots of other people really liked it too.
Yeah, Twitter kind of started going a bit crazy for this one. It definitely was the first entry of the night that actually stood out in a really, really good way. So it wasn't surprising to see it do especially well with the televote there. They were very captivating. I like that they added that male sort of dancer musician person just to get a little bit of movement so that they weren't kind of just standing there and doing their thing. I mean, I don't expect a granny to do a backflip, but, you know, it was actually a very cohesive performance, and they got it's very empowering. I don't know. I just really liked it. And it's a bit of an earworm. Have not a single clue what they're saying, but, very enjoyable. So moving on to Eurovision in mind, how do you think Pasha might go with the songs that we have currently?
Semi-final one is setting up to be a very hard semi-final to qualify from. But I think they will qualify, just knowing that Moldova always has something up their sleeve to up their staging in the semi-finals. We saw that with like Tröneletzel. Lots of people thought it wouldn't qualify. Rehearsal clips, people thought it wouldn't qualify, but when people actually saw it on stage, it was elevated.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, Moldova, if there's one thing that they know how to do, it's get a televote. And in an 100% televote semi-final, I think he's got a really good chance of making it through. Obviously, we have a few more songs to see to shape up that final, but I have no doubt that this definitely has the legs. It just needs a little bit of tidying up with the concept. But if anything, this is definitely an absolute banger that's going to go on my Spotify playlist, and I'm going to be listening to this a lot, and I'm going to go absolutely crazy in Euroclub when it comes on. So thank you so much for joining me, Colleen. That is us chatting about Moldova. I hope everyone enjoyed and have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.